Dark Deity 2 is nearly here, and when I say nearly, I mean nearly. And I have to say, I am insanely excited, even more so than I already was. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and welcome back to the channel. Hello everyone, if you enjoy what I do, including my coverage of indie turn-based strategy RPGs, such as Dark Deity 2, the sequel to one of my favorite indie turn-based strategy RPGs of all time, then a like on this video, a subscription to the channel, and consideration of checking out both my YouTube memberships and my Patreon would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So what is the news with Dark Deity 2? Well, we have information about a release date, a new difficulty mode, words directly from the horse's mouth about expected replayability, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff to discuss. So I wanted to put it all together into one video, seeing as how each one of these individual topics didn't really fit a video on its own, but together, that's a very different story. So first and foremost, the information that you are probably the most interested in. When is it coming out? March 24th, 2025. If you're watching this on release, less than a month away, something that I am incredibly excited about, seeing as how there is a lot of meat on these bones. On initial release, Dark Deity 2 is going to be coming to Steam exclusively. However, we have heard from the dev that they would very much like to be able to release on Switch, and I mean, if you can release on Switch, maybe other consoles? I don't know, I'm just speculating here, but as of right now, if you're looking to play Dark Deity 2 when it drops, you'll be wanting to pick it up on Steam. You should go and wishlist the game right now and show the devs some support because they have clearly earned it. I have been absolutely loving what time I've had with DD2 thus far via the demo. I don't have any early access at time of recording or anything like that, but the demo time that I have played multiple times now on stream actually has been extremely enjoyable with a ton of replayability, a lot of very interesting character builds and abilities to utilize, varied mission objectives and missions in general based on your own player choices. There's a ton of cool stuff to see here. So the fact that we're going to be able to engage with that in less than a month, pretty damn wild, and we are certainly going to be doing so on stream for all of you to enjoy and for us to enjoy as a community together. If you aren't aware of what Dark Deity is, well, allow me to inform you. It is, in my opinion, one of the first and best indie turn-based strategy RPGs to take the inspiration of Fire Emblem and turn it into something wholly unique to itself while still fitting the genre. The fact that we have a sequel on offer that is looking as polished and as intensely focused as DD2 is very impressive, I have to say. If you are familiar with Fire Emblem, you will of course be familiar with the formula that you have here: player phase and enemy phase, permadeath, a team of characters with different growth rates and abilities, classes that you can promote through, including different class promotion options over multiple tiers, which is extremely exciting, a variety of different enemies, different mission objectives. If you're at all familiar with the genre, you should feel right at home here. Now, what's cool is we've actually gotten a lot of confirmation recently about a ton of different VAs who are going to be working on this title, including such notable names as, Allegra Clark, who voiced Dorothea and Shamir in Fire Emblem Three Houses, hello, as well as a ton of other people. So there's going to be a very high quality voice cast attached to this title, which is super exciting. We've also recently learned of a new difficulty mode, Demonic, which I can personally attest to being pretty nasty, not insurmountable at the very least in terms of what I was able to play in the demo version of the game, as it was recently added to the rebalanced demo. It definitely reminds me of Maddening in Fire Emblem Engage, wherein it is absolutely a challenge. Enemies do not mess around. They have high stats. They will body you if given the chance. Things like double attacks for your party are very rare. You definitely need to have characters who are spec'd for it to be able to get double attacks, and you have to make very smart use of your abilities and things, but it doesn't feel unfair in the way things like, say, Lunatic Plus in Fire Emblem Awakening did, right? Engage did max level difficulty in a turn-based strategy RPG right, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people, and it seems like Dark Deity 2 is definitely living up to that sort of standard, whether they're trying to really style themselves after Engage or just make a really well-balanced experience and actually put the effort in, which unfortunately is not super common. So huge props to the dev team at Sword and Axe for that. This new demonic difficulty launched alongside a low turn count challenge run that the devs were hosting, wherein they would give away some copies of both DD1 and DD2 to the winners. And while I certainly did not win any awards with my run of the first 4 chapters of the game that are present in the demo, clocking in at a total of 32 turns, whereas the champions were I think 11 or 12 turns, which I don't even understand how that was feasible. I did get a lot of time to play around with the demonic difficulty and experience just how brutal it could be, while still giving you the tools that you need to approach it and find success. Compared to my initial runs of the demo, where things were a whole lot easier and you could certainly just face tank a bunch of enemies in true Fire Emblem fashion, on demonic difficulty in Dark Deity 2, you really need to actually pay attention to what your character's strengths and weaknesses are, as well as what abilities you have on hand. A big example of this for me was in the second to last chapter of the demo, where I actually wound up relying on the character that I was supposed to be escorting through the mission by porting him forward using a phase ability from one of my mages to teleport him into the enemy front line, because his stats were so good. So he could actually dodge and soften up the enemy for me, while the rest of my weaker party members could move up behind him and wreck shop with these now weakened enemies. And I don't know that I would have had as much success trying to clear that mission if I hadn't been using that character in that way. So while you might have to engage in some fairly unorthodox strategies to find success at the highest difficulty levels in Dark Deity 2, you are rewarded for doing so, which I find really, really cool. You know, it's not the same thing as using like a warp staff to cheese entire levels like you can do in older Fire Emblem games, which I've never been a fan of, and it's part of the reason that I've never really engaged with low turn count runs to begin with. But actually having the ability to look at what's available on the map and be like, I can't just one turn cheese this map, but I can find ways to optimize it to get the lowest turn count possible. That is really cool. It's something I really enjoy, and I'm extremely excited that it exists with a very intended aspect in Dark Deity 2. However, while I do think that demonic difficulty is going to prove a very fun challenge for a lot of us diehard turn-based strategy RPG fans, it has been recommended that you do not start with it on your first run of the game when it comes out on March 24th. In speaking with head dev Chip, he highly advocated against starting on demonic difficulty, instead of recommending Deity, the previous highest difficulty in DD1. That should provide the intended experience for the game, from what I understand, and it certainly felt right when I played DD1. Considering the fact that a demonic run of the game is going to apparently take much, much longer than a normal run on Deity, it makes sense that you probably want to be able to go through and learn what the game has on offer, what challenges you're going to be expected to face, and what the best builds are going to be for your characters to make an optimal run before you play on this absolute highest difficulty, which again strikes very much of the maddening mode runs that I did in Fire Emblem Engage. There's a lot of stuff that you can get away with on lower difficulties and really feel like you've put together your own unique strategy that, while not the easiest thing to pull off, is very gratifying when you do. But on things like maddening or now here demonic, you really have to lock in and know what you're doing to build the best strategies for the end of the game, lest you find yourself in a situation that is truly insufferable to try and deal with. So, very important thing to keep in mind, even though, as far as I understand, Demonic is going to be available day one as soon as you launch the title. Now, something that is very cool about this whole demonic difficulty actually stems from the idea of replayability, something that I was discussing recently in a private conversation with Chip himself. The dev team is apparently extremely confident in the replayability of Dark Deity 2, something that I definitely felt with DD1 as well, due to the various branching tiers of promotion and class building that you can do with each of your characters, as well as the fact that you have some maybe slightly branching storylines, at least based off what we've seen in the demo, where you can encounter different enemy groups, ally with different NPC characters, and have different maps that you have to tackle. If you're semi-new to the channel, I am absolutely a massive fan of replayability in turn-based strategy RPGs. I can't even begin to tell you the number of times I've replayed Final Fantasy Tactics, the various different Fire Emblem games, all of them I've played at least 5 times, I think. I love the ability to go through these games, have characters level up differently due to random growths, path them through different promotion paths, get different abilities, different weapon skills, different stats, etc. It makes for a unique experience pretty much every time, until you've played the game so many times you've seen every different permutation, which most people will not be able to do. So knowing that the devs are intentionally designing Dark Deity 2 with that type of replayability in mind is so friggin' cool to me. And again, take it directly from the horse's mouth here. This is what Chip had to say to me when we were discussing replayability in DD2, verbatim. Quote, "What I have found is that testers very often make it to the end of the game and they're more excited to start playing Run 2 than they are to beat it. Because once you see the tier 3s, the gears start turning. And that is so cool. One of my favorite aspects of Dark Deity 1 was how many different promotion paths you could take characters through, taking in mind what wounds they had, what their various different growths were, what roles they tended to fill, and then what different abilities you could mix and match between different character classes as you promoted them. And it was one of the favorite things of my friends who all played Dark Deity 1 at the same time as me. Like, we loved getting on a Discord call and chatting with each other like, oh, well, I took Bianca through this promotion path, or I took Faust through this promotion path, and these are the abilities that they have, and this is the role that they're filling for me and my team, and how it changed the way that we approached various different maps. So, given how many more different abilities, upgrade paths, stat increases, weapon modifications, etc. there will be in Dark Deity 2, alongside all of these varied promotion paths that you can take that have all these different abilities, there's going to be so many different ways that you can approach customizing an army for your particular play style to suit whatever it is you like to do on the battlefield, or whatever objectives you need to meet on the various different difficulties throughout different missions. There is going to be so much opportunity for multiple playthroughs here, especially challenge runs. Like, we haven't even talked about that yet. I'm so hype about it. Like, I really cannot express how excited I am to sink my teeth into all of these different systems that have been very intentionally designed for people to do just that. And I think that is the coolest damn thing to see, especially from an indie dev that doesn't have anywhere near the resources that big dev teams like Intelligent Systems with Fire Emblem in their portfolio have access to. Like, it is just so damn cool. All in all, between this demonic difficulty, the fact that the devs are hosting things like low turn count challenge runs for the community, the fact that we have so many awesome VAs attached to this project with incredible character art, awesome pixel design, like, there's just so much amazing stuff backing Dark Deity 2. I really need to advocate that people who maybe were not either super enthusiastic about the first game or potentially didn't play it at all, hop on this title. Check out the demo on Steam. Keep an eye out for its launch on March 24th. Play this title. I truly think it is going to be an absolutely phenomenal experience, and I, for one, am going to 100% be streaming it day one on release for all of you so we can discuss it as a community and figure out some of the best ways to play this title. Huge hats off to Chip and the entire team at Sword and Axe LLC. You guys have been doing incredible work. This is absolutely going to be one of my highlights of the year. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. I'm extremely excited for the end of the month, next month, when this drops. I am very interested, though. Are you excited about this title? Is this the first time that you've heard about it? Are you willing to try it out after maybe potentially not being a fan of Dark Deity 1 or anything else? Let us know in the comments, not only for me and the sake of Lord Algo, which of course I do always need to appease, but also so the team at Sword and Axe can see what you're most excited to see in this latest release from them, so that they can take that information into the future. Because I think they absolutely deserve to get some positive reinforcement from the community, given how much effort they've been putting into this project. Of course, thank you as always to all of my channel supporters via YouTube memberships and Patreon. You guys absolutely mean the world. You 100% keep this channel running. I don't think I would be here now without the continued support that you all have provided over the years. And if you are interested in directly supporting the channel, you can find links to both my YouTube memberships and my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you to anyone who chooses to check that out. Until the next video, of course, my name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. I'm hoping to have a video out about Astral Throne sometime in the near future. Some extenuating circumstances have delayed the production of that video, but it is something that is on my docket to do, so look forward to that. And you can also look forward to more Aiden Chronicles coming very soon on the second very much neglected channel. I know it is a travesty that I've left it neglected for so long, but you can find a link to that channel and those VODs and videos in the description down below as well. Keep an eye on that. With all of that said, though, of course, my name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. I do very much hope you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other, everybody. Bye now.